Hey guys, Chris, how you doing? So I apologize for starters because I've been slacking on the videos. So after if you've seen my other videos, I bought a Western Rattler, and my FX Impact has been my favorite gun. A couple of AEAs, and then I was looking for my next gun. And I have been through a Daystate Delta Wolf 30 caliber. That gun is a 30 caliber, but it shouldn't be. Unless you want to shoot pellets only. If you want to shoot slugs, that gun is not for slugs at all. It shoots pellets actually really accurate. It's very accurate, especially for 30 caliber, and they're still 44 grain, but my 25 caliber slugs are 50 grain. So for 30 caliber, you know, it's light. But I think it's the pellet shape more than the weight. The velocity was going way down with the weight, but the accuracy was just like, the shots were inches apart. So it just, don't buy a Delta Wolf if you're looking to shoot slugs at all. And then I ended up I should have gone with the FX Pantera first, but so in the middle of those two, I went ahead and got the Prophet 2, the RTI Prophet 2, and I got the highest end model, the limited edition, tuned by Francesco, with the extended rail on the bottom, the bag rider, which I switched for a monopod. The extended plenum, the whole 9 yards, the works. It came with 2 magazines, you know, priority support, all that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna return it. I shot it for less than 1 hour, and I called them. I'm like, listen, this thing is not producing the velocity and the foot-pounds of energy it's supposed to. And when I turn the regulator high enough for it to, the slug gets stuck in the end of the barrel right before the silencer. So it's supposedly lightly choked, so it can be for pellets as well as slugs. But they should have made a strictly pellet barrel and a strictly slug barrel, because they don't mix. So anyways, this is the only new dedicated slug gun out. So I should have gone with it in the first place. I don't know what made me think otherwise. I have not done much to this gun at all. I got it today. I drove up to Northeast Air Guns in Massachusetts, and they're really awesome up there. Nice guys, and a couple of them are shooters, so that they know their stuff. So, you know, and they have a lot of nice guns, good guns. You know, Brocock, FX. I think they have Daystate. They have all high-end brands. They don't have any garbage. And you know, for less expensive stuff, they have Air Venturi, which is one of in my opinion, that I've had an Air Venturi bullpup. That was the best $300 gun that I think probably has ever been made. I haven't tried any of the Benjamin ones, and I know those are supposedly really good. So I probably should have tried one of those, but at this point, I just go for the good ones, because I'm not going to be satisfied with anything less. So the only things I have done to the gun is, obviously, I put the bipod in the scope. I did the bipod that just mounts one onto each side on the M-lock, so I didn't have to put a Picatinny and then a bipod. I just did the bipod right into the M-lock, and I like it. It seems to be really stable, actually. And I already ordered. So I went and before I got the gun, once I had decided on it, I ordered the adapter, but from Huma, not the FX one that just has the double thread. This has a metal bracket that supports the extra bottle when you put the bottle in the front. So I'm gonna put my 580cc that came on my FX Impact, because I put a 700 on that. I'm going to put that 580 up front and still keep this, because the shot count is incredibly low, especially I've got the regulator at like 165 right now. And, you know, this has got a 156cc plenum in the beginning of the barrel, and then this tiny little tank. So for a gun this long that's shooting heavy slugs, it needs both bottles. It'll have even more than the impact. I put my Burris scope. This is a Burris XTR3. I ended up buying an Element Optic scope for my first one today, and it's actually really great. I love it. It was supposed to be an MOA. The only reason I didn't buy the Nexus was because they only had it in Milrad, and I ended up buying the Titan, and I somehow ended up with it in Milrad as well. I'm very upset about that, but it is what it is. Mistakes happen, so I'll send it back and have them send me another one. And I also bought the GRS bipod, and I wish I hadn't. I'm gonna have to return that because it doesn't have any way to keep it stable. It just swings no matter what you do. There's nothing. There's no. At least the UTG one, it was a couple $100. It was less than half the price, and you can secure it. Like there's set screws to keep it tight. That doesn't have any set screws. So anyways, enough about that. The Pantera. I got this today. I got a couple extra magazines. These magazines they're not as high of a shot count. The others have 25 shots in 25 caliber. These have 16 in 25 caliber. It's not that bad. It's a lot better than 10 or 8, you know. And they come with the standard height top for the magazine, but they also come with the deeper one, which I obviously use because these are 52 grain slugs. So for that weight, and I did have to, I mean, the gun's got to get worked in anyways, and obviously clean the barrel when you get a new gun. I cleaned another gun with this before too, so it's not all from this gun, obviously. It was a brand new gun, but I did clean it with that as well, and ballast all before that. And then, so I got the 2 extra magazines. There's one in here. It came with one. I've got the 2 extra. And I kind of, I'm like on the fence about the grip, but I definitely don't, I can definitely live with it. So I may end up sticking with it. I don't think I'm going to do much more unless there's performance things that I can do. So they say not to get the tungsten hammer. When I ordered the bottle adapter with the bracket that supports the bottle, I also ordered the tungsten hammer for this gun, and then I find out that the tungsten hammer on this gun has been doing damage to the gun, and that you shouldn't use it. And I'm like, okay, well, why are they advertising it and selling it then? And they still are. I saw an Ernest Rowe masterclass today of him installing a tungsten hammer in a Pantera. And if they know about the problem, why are they still doing that? Anyways, they haven't changed the literature. They haven't stopped advertising it. So if you do buy one, beware. What I did is I got the tungsten hammer for the impact, and then I also bought the power kit, the slug power kit, and it came with 2 different hammer weights, and they were the only difference was how thick the bottom of it was for this extra spring tension. And I think they might be a little bit heavier, but it's probably just because of that extra space. And then I also have the spacers. I didn't put any spacers in here. I had put one in the FX, but I ended up taking that out when I had to do some other stuff, and the spring tension was just too much on that, so I took it out. But that gun is still shooting 1,000+ foot-pounds a second with 52 grain 25 caliber. And then it's completely supersonic with a 32 grain or whatever, something standard size. It's like 1,200 feet per second. This one, I'm not so sure if it's going to get that high just yet, because I did put in the hammer weight that had a little bit more space to give it a little bit more spring tension. I mean, I can still go all the way to 23 on the adjustment, so it's not, and that's with the macro all the way up to 3. No, it's up to almost 4, 3 and over 3.5. So I did all of that, and my last shot was 930 feet per second. So I don't have my tablet over here, so I'll just tell you how fast they're going. but I will show you downrange. I put a brand new target on the, yeah, I put a brand new 7-inch in the small bullet box. I'll bring you down there and show you after I shoot some rounds down there. And then I put up a big steel cowbell thing. You'll hear a ring when I shoot it. So I'll go for the cowbell real quick. Just see, make sure that everything's all squared away. See what kind of speed I'm getting. .924. .925. .924. So it's very consistent. The gun's very consistent. The regulator in this is incredibly consistent. I'm running it tethered, obviously, because this one little tank, I would be able to shoot it like, you know, not even a full magazine, I don't think. It would literally, it runs out that quick. All right, I'm gonna start putting it on paper. Oh, by the way, the reason that I said that I was slacking with getting those other two guns is because I didn't really review them. I'm reviewing this because I don't like to give bad reviews. I mean, I'm going to give an honest review one way or the other, but I don't like to go and do a review about a gun when I know it's going to be all bad. I mean, I can't say all bad about either one. The Daystate was incredibly accurate with the pellets, and it was like, you know, I could take the center of the target out with, you know, with one magazine, 10 shots. But the magazines are $130. It's a $4,000 gun, and you can't even shoot slugs out of it. I was really pissed off. And the other one is a $2,800 gun, and, you know, that's with all the bells and whistles, but oh, by the way, and then the Daystate chronograph didn't work immediately. First shot, chronograph didn't work. But the RTI was a good gun shooting slow, which is not what I'm going to want to do long term. So it never would have been the right gun for me, or for pellets, and that's it. And really, it's really just for pellets, because I couldn't even get over 800 feet a second on the highest settings. Even I think I don't think I got even higher than that with this grain weight. I don't even think I got higher than that on the RTI. But this gun, I'm already in the 900s, and so I'm very happy with that. I'll tell you, it's true what they say too. It really does. What kick it has goes straight back. It's almost, it fires like a small rifle, because it does go straight back. That was off. That was me. I need something stickier for these feet. That's what it is. You know what? Let me do this. I have some rubber. So this is just like a piece of that stuff that you would buy at Home Depot to put on your garage floor or something like that. There we go. That'll help keep it stable. And then was that one? I guess that's about as tight as it's gonna get. That was 919 that last shot, by the way. $923 again. Starting to go through the same hole where I don't even see a hole. It's just one big one getting a little bigger. Sorry, this is my ham radio. All right, there's one mag. So now when you take it out, you have to kind of push it to the side and then it just rolls out. And when you put a new one in, it's obviously vice versa, but you just take this like that. And the other thing is the regulators are both right there, which are pivoted back to you, which is nice, but the magazine is just not in the most ideal location, but it's not that bad. There's nowhere else they could have put it. I'm just making that hole really big now. All right, I'm gonna go for those little circles around the outer perimeter of the target that you cover the holes with, or that's what they're there for. I usually use them for tiny targets, so I'm gonna start shooting a couple of those. Well, I haven't missed one that I was aiming for yet. And that's a duplicate speed at 923. That was duplicate number 1. I can actually, I'm recording with my phone, so I can't. And my tablet, I don't know where it is, or I would let you see the speed or hear the speed, or both. The reason I use this Pro Chrono instead of the FX one, I have the FX one, it came with my Impact when I first got it, is because you can't measure over 1100 feet per second with the FX, and sometimes even a little less than 11 it will not pick up. But this one will pick up in the thousands. I use this for real guns too. So and it picks up, 2,800 and something feet per second out of my AR. Oh, first one I missed. Okay. How many shots do I have? Not a lot. Yeah, 16 after getting used to an impact does go quick. I have a couple left. I'll do a couple cowbell ringers, then I'll do one more magazine with a couple separate groups of 5, and then I'll show you the target, and that's about it. I just wanted to show you guys this gun. And the RTI is going back on Monday, so I'll do another short review of that gun. An honest review. I mean, you're going to hear the bad, but there's a lot of good with that gun too. The Daystate, I don't think there was much good. It was like all pellets or don't buy it. That was the bottom line. And even if you do buy it with pellets, you have to watch out because my chronograph didn't work immediately after getting it. And the magazines are $140. By the time you get them shipped, they're like $140 to $150 for a 10-shot magazine. It's pretty ridiculous for a gun that can't shoot a slug. I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed with the RTI too, but FX hasn't let me down again. So it's got me thinking that the Crown is probably going to be my next one. I hate having black crosshairs with a black background. That's the only bad thing about the silhouettes. I mean the splatter burst. You can see when you hit them, but before you hit them, unless it's the center of the target where it's red, it's very hard to see your reticle, even on a $2,000 scope. Let me see if I can focus this a little better. And that was getting worse. There we go. So you roll that out, roll the new one back in. I say roll because you kind of do have to like turn it in. It has that same notch for the end of the barrel, and you just like turn it in until it's flat. Gotcha. I'm very excited that I'll be getting my Western Rattler back. I actually had to send that out for a warranty repair, even though I had already fixed it with longer screws, but apparently they wanted to check it out themselves or have Guns of Arizona do it because that's their warranty repair place. And when I sent it out, I was like, damn, it's going to take a month. I just got this gun. I'm not going to have it for a month. Because honestly, I shoot the impact and a gun like this more than that anyway. But when you want to have some fun with some 180 grain slugs, that's it. That thing is a good time. And I don't shoot my AR down here because New Haven police have a shot spotter all over the city. If any firearms were to go off, they can hear it and they'll show right up. And I can't be discharging my firearms in my building. This thing's got a nice trigger too, and the cocking lever is very similar to the impact. It's a little. It's not quite as smooth as the impact, but it's very close. It is definitely very smooth. It's very. I mean, once you get it all the way back, I'll show you again after I shoot. But once you get it all the way back, it's a little more. It's a little different. It's a little rougher. But it's not actually rough. It's just the impact is so smooth. All right, a few at the cowbell. So you see when I cock it, it has tension right here, which I just made the spring have more tension, so that's partially because of me. Of course, that's the last shot, but when you cock it back, so it's a little smoother like that, but even then at the end, but there's a good reason for this, because if you guys remember, or if you have an impact, you'll know, this will just like flip open on the impact if you have it cocked while you're walking through the woods or whatever. This one won't do that. Also, when it's open, I could tip it upside down and it's not gonna fly forward like the impact will. The only downside is this barrel is huge, and this is the 600 millimeter, not the 7. So imagine the 700 millimeter would have been another 4 inches, and then another 4 for the silencer, and my other silencer is even longer, which is on my impact instead now. I switched the small Donnie FL, even though I'm not fond of Donnie FL silencers at all, because I feel like anybody with a little ingenuity and know-how could make these. These are very easy to make. All this is a hollow tube and a tube in the middle with some holes in it with a piece of felt and a couple zip ties. It's just so cheesy. But the other silencer that I have, I highly recommend them. It's a Trident airgun silencer. And then the Element Titan that I bought, that is it's all it's cracked up to be. I'll show you real quick. So I put that on the impact right here. So it's a really clear scope, and it's a really accurate scope, and I love the reticle in it. I mean, I love my Vortex. That's probably my favorite scope, but that XTR3 is like a neck and neck with it, and that's, if I were to put that silencer on the other gun, I mean, it's like a fishing pole right now. So, you know, I mean, you could go fishing with this and shoot the fish, but it looks like it's long enough to cast the line out. I mean, at least the second bottle will fill a little bit of that space more, so it won't look so long, but it's still going to look crazy long. It's a long gun. If I could take the silencer off and shoot it outside, I would, but it's going to be too loud. Depending on where you are, obviously, but you don't want to scare off whatever you're hunting either. So I was shooting that big white, 5/8 steel target in the middle here, and then I was shooting this, and all those little circles that I took out, and then there's a little group on the bottom and on the top of the circle, and then there's one off to the right there, and a couple flyers. I think there was a flyer from missing this one, and then 2 flyers from that. And then the rest were, they were all in the holes, or all on the small dots. And then those were all just a couple of groups, just 2 groups. And then, the other groups I've been getting are like that, that. It's also, I'm getting it broken in, and I'm breaking in the gun and zeroing the scope at the same time. And then I also had to zero a new scope on my impact, so I think the Vortex might go on my, I haven't decided whether to use that or the Arkin on my Western Rattler, or put which one to put on that and which one to put on my AR. But see, even the Challenger has actually a very similar straight type of grip. It's not as straight, but it's very close. But that's a great scope, and that's actually also in mils, and I don't like mils. I like MOA, because MOA, I actually looked it up today when I was at Northeast Airguns, because the guy that works there actually competes or shoots in some competitions or whatever, and is sponsored by Element, and he was saying that he likes the mils better because it's a smaller adjustment. So but it's not. It's 1/10 of a mil rad compared to 1/4 of an MOA, which is 0.25 to 0.10. So it's 2.5 times the adjustment for every 1 click. Yeah, and the overall amount of space is also bigger in a mil rad compared to an MOA. So it's a bigger increment of that space, but it's still a smaller amount of space. So you can get much more precise with with MOA is the bottom line, which is why I stick with it, and that's why I need to. Unfortunately, I've already zeroed that scope, and I have to send it back to get it in MOA, because even after that long discussion, I ended up getting a Milrad scope and not an MOA. But I do have some scope footage. I didn't do a review like on film like this, but I do have some scope footage from when I was shooting the day state. But I was so furious when I got it, and that's how it was shooting after spending that much money on an air gun, and you know, the chronograph doesn't work. The slugs are shooting like hell. I was just so furious that I don't think it's really good for YouTube, being YouTube approved. It probably would not be YouTube approved, because I was pretty vulgar. I was very furious. So that one, I don't know if it's appropriate, but I will do one of the RTI, because the RTI, I would rather have the RTI for that much less money if I had to have one or the other, if those were the only guns in the world, the only air guns in the world. But thankfully, you know, FX, I actually was trying to go with some of the other guns, because FX, as much as they're cracked up to be this company that's all about their customers and all that kind of stuff, they're not. It's BS, because I talked to them after the whole thing with the video that I did where I put the transfer ports from Huma on my all 3 calibers of the M3. I called Pyramid, because the end of the barrel, I mentioned it in the video too, so hopefully nobody else makes this mistake. It's 1 piece now, and it used to be 2. So anywhere you look for directions on how to change that transfer port, it says that you heat it up and then you thread it apart, because it's got Loctite on it, and you thread it apart and then you thread the new one on. That's not the case, because I actually heated it up with a heat gun up to 11 or 1200 degrees, and when I was turning it, I snapped it, because I mean, it was that hot, and I was wrenching on it pretty good. I mean, I have rubber pads and stuff that were holding it and turning it, but I mean, it was bound to break if it wasn't threaded. But I had no reason to think it wasn't threaded, because Huma Air didn't know that. I didn't know that. Pyramid didn't know that. Pyramid found out after calling FX for me, and then I called FX myself, which is how I had the bad experience with them. But after they called, they found out, oh, well, gee, a few months ago they changed the inside end of the barrel of the, with the transfer port into 1 piece instead of 2, and didn't tell anyone. So I ended up splitting the difference with the price for the price on them with Huma, because I got a hold of them faster than FX. I got a hold of them pretty quick, within a day or two, and they offered to send me out all 3 different ones, because I had all 3 transfer ports sitting there waiting to get installed, and I couldn't install them. So, and plus I had just broken the tip of my 25 caliber. So they were very accommodating. They sent 3 right out, and that was that. And I split the bill with them, because I didn't know, they didn't know. I can't blame them. They can't blame me. I actually told FX what I wanted them to do to make it right with me, because it was a warranty claim, because it's all, official FX caliber change kits, the gun, all the other parts are not from them, because every other companies make them better, like Huma especially. But Huma made it right away, and then FX said, oh, let me talk to my superiors, and then Huma never heard from them. So it's things like that that make me not want to deal with FX, but they just simply make the best guns. I mean, I got to give credit where credit's due. They just make the best guns. Anyways, so I don't want to take any more of your time. I hope you guys enjoyed, and gives you a little bit of insight into Pantera. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I don't know too much about this gun yet. I did take apart what I had to change that hammer weight. And it's very different than the Impact. This is nothing like the Impact. You'd be surprised, because most of the FX guns are very similar. This is a very different gun. So you have to take this stock off. You disconnect this. Then you take these two covers off, one on each side, and then there's 4 screws holding it into the block. And then you undo those 4, and this comes off. Then you take off the wheel. Then you have to take out the barrel and roller, and or the barrel and adjuster, or whatever that part is called. You have to take a bunch of stuff out just to get to where you need to be to get because the hammer weight is up in, you know, it's right behind this, obviously. So it's in here. So you have to get this out in order to get in there to push it out of here. So it's a little tricky compared to the impact. The impact is a lot easier. But it's a great gun. It's shooting slugs wonderfully. I haven't even finished breaking it in. I mean, before making this video, I shot like 3 or 4 magazines before this. So it's not even broken in yet. I'm sure I'll have this thing as precise as the impact, if not more so. All right, thank you guys, and I'll get you another video on the RTI probably tomorrow. Thanks.